Both the Roman Catholic Church and the Eastern Orthodox Church believe they alone are the one holy Catholic and Apostolic Church that was built by Jesus in the first century, according to Matthew 16:18, despite schisming from each other in 1054. They also profess their particular church believes everything Jesus believed and taught in the first century, including what books are scripture. Although the Eastern Orthodox Church doesn't have a unified biblical canon like the Roman Catholic Church does, all Eastern Orthodox churches embrace 1st, 2nd, and 3rd Maccabees as scripture, which they believe Jesus did as well. However, the Roman Catholic canon only embraces 1st and 2nd Maccabees as scripture, not 3rd Maccabees. Yet they both claim Jesus believed in the same books they do, yet they disagree about 3rd Maccabees. Although Jesus and the New Testament writers cited from 1st and 2nd Maccabees, they also cited from 3rd and 4th Maccabees as well. In fact, according to the Nestle Allen Greek New Testament used by Jimmy Akin from Catholic Answers to defend the Deuterocanonical books as scripture, it also records the New Testament cited 3rd Maccabees half as frequently as 1st Maccabees, 10 times versus 20 times respectively, and 4th Maccabees nearly as frequently as 2nd Maccabees, 32 times versus 37 times respectively. But what all 4 books of Maccabees have in common is not once are any of them cited in the New Testament as scripture, unlike the books from the Hebrew Bible, which are cited as scripture. Roman Catholics will point to the late 4th century church councils of Rome, Hippo, and Carthage, which only included 1st and 2nd Maccabees in their canon lists. However, these were only local church councils, meaning they were not binding to all of Christendom, unlike ecumenical councils, which were. Which explains why the churches in the East did not embrace their canon lists despite still being part of the one holy Catholic and Apostolic Church, yet not including any of the books of Maccabees back then, which we can see in canon lists of the doctors of the church, such as Athanasius of Alexandria, Cyril of Jerusalem, and the Council of Laodicea, which reflected the books Eastern Orthodox churches embraced back then. So how can the churches in the West and the churches in the East both claim to be the same, to believe the same scriptures that Jesus believed, yet disagree with each other on whether or not 3rd Maccabees is scripture? These early Eastern Church lists mirrored closer to the Jewish canon from before the time of Christ, which omitted not only 1st through 4th Maccabees, but also the rest of the so-called Deuterocanonical books, since they were not laid up in the temple by the pre-Christian Jews who had not yet rejected their Messiah since he had not been born yet. This is why the Apostle Paul wrote the Jews, meaning the pre-Christian Jews, were entrusted with the oracles of God, Romans 3 verses 1 through 2, meaning the Old Testament scriptures, which exclude all of the Deuterocanon, including 1st through 4th Maccabees. Click the link on the screen to watch a brief 3-minute video where I demonstrate there is no evidence prior to or contemporary with the time of Christ of the Deuterocanon being included in the Septuagint, including any of the books of Maccabees.